What up, y'all? It's your man, Abuamerican. So, I was asked a question by a sister, actually. It's a good question. On my YouTube channel. She wasn't one of them crazy hater sisters. She asked me, how can a woman increase her value in the same way that a man can? And the answer is you can't. And I'll explain why. Men are made, women are born. This lighting is horrible. I don't have any other lighting in here, though. So anyway, men are made, women are born. And what this means is basically it's like women are born with an intrinsic value that men do not have. Men have to develop their value. And this is why there's so many self-help gurus and coaches and all this stuff for men out there, and very few for women, because women don't really have to do a lot. So this puts you in a different dynamic as a woman. Since you're born as a female with an intrinsic value that a man doesn't have, what you have to do is maintain your value while a guy builds his. Now, maintaining your value, that is, I guess, for girls, for women, that's something that, requires some work and some effort on your part also. But I'm not really a girl. But I can tell you from a male perspective what we look for. Like, low notch count. We don't want a woman who's just been sleeping around, and just giving away the goods to everybody. That lowers your value. I know in the 21st century, and I'm talking to Muslims, so, alhamdulillah, we know this already, but just in case a non-Muslim woman is watching this, that lowers your value. I don't care what they tell you in society, what they tell you in public, what they say, slut shaming and all this type of stuff. Nothing's going to change biological fact of men. We intrinsically do not trust women who have very promiscuous pasts or currents, a current lifestyle. It's just not something that men really like. So keep that notch count to a low if you're actually looking to maintain a relationship or actually acquire, accrue, whatever the word you want to use is, to get a long-lasting relationship with a high-value man. Keep it in your pants. And in this culture, in this society, I know it's difficult because the demands are so high for sexual access to women, but really, women are sexual gatekeepers. You have the choice of who you sleep with. So if you're just sleeping with Tom, Dick, and Harry, and Jack, Joe, and Ed, and Tom, and the whole neighborhood, your value is going to fall. And although that is secret, there are tells that men know, high value men who've been dealing with a lot of women, and a lot of women who are trying to gain access to them in their lives. There are tells in the behaviors of women who have a high notch count. And so you just don't want to have those, be financially solvent, I think is the right word. Just show a degree of financial, competence. Nobody's saying you have to be rich. Men don't look at that stuff. Men don't care about that stuff. Men don't care about your degrees. They don't care about your income. Nobody looks at her and is like, oh man, she is so hot. Dang, how long did it take her to get her master's? Nobody cares about that stuff. Not as a man. That stuff women care about. Nobody thinks, not a man of value, not a man who has his own wealth. He doesn't look at a woman and think, man, she's worth 6 figures. It's so hot. Because it just feels ludicrous saying it. The average man who has his stuff together, he's not interested in how much money you have. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to know about your money. He has his own. What else can you do? Just take care of yourself overall. This is a very important one. I don't know why this would have slipped my mind. It didn't really slip my mind. I'm about to bring it up. Take care of yourself physically. High value man, generally he takes care of himself and his fitness, and he's not looking for a girl that's like not similar to him. That means we are talking about your weight. Keep it slim. That's the human standard, actually. Not being like, too big, too fat, whatever else, guys just don't like, in general, you do have a subset of men who like, obese women. And those probably feet guys also. They're just weirdos. If you're a big girl and you find a rich guy who actually likes big women, or you're a high value man that likes big women, hey, kudos to you. But the average man who's high value, he would be more embarrassed to be seen with you publicly. And, in his environment and in his circles than he would be happy. So he wants a woman that he can have on his arm that he's proud of. And obviously for Muslims, then of course your woman's going to be covered up. But nevertheless, when she's uncovered, you still, you want your girl to look good naked. That's just the reality, ladies. Listen, Muslim or non-Muslim, your man wants to look at you when you're naked and go like, man. He does. And that's the reality. So keep it fit. That's maintaining your value. Men lay more value on youth and beauty than they do on degrees and all this other type of stuff. And although you can't stay, although you can't stay young forever, what you can do is you can maintain your health. And that helps maintain your beauty. Because, and I'll just explain, this is sort of like a tangent rant, but look, my ex is a little bit older than me. I'm 48. She's like 50, 51 now. When I look at her, I still see that woman I met when she was like 21. I still see her because I was together with her for 27 years. My ex is my neighbor. I'm not checking she's married and everything. I'm not really checking her out like that, but I see her as that same woman because I was with her so long. It kind of like I saw the stages of the changes of her body and her beauty. And so for me, there wasn't much of a change over the 27 years because that was a woman that I loved. And so she stayed fit. She kept herself fit. She had 6 kids and she looks good. She does. And she still does. Not as good as she used to, but obviously, but I can still see that woman in her. And so me as a man, I would think to myself, I'm not interested in my ex, but I'm just saying, yeah, I could be with a woman that looks like that if I knew her from a young age to an older age. You see what I'm saying? But if I just meet you at an older age, you're just that older looking woman. I have no frame of reference for your earlier beauty to your current beauty. I haven't grown with you. And so, she kept herself fit. She kept herself, in good shape. And if you do that, then inshallah, if you got yourself a decent man, and high value guys, they're not always, but they tend to be decent. Well, let me not say that. If you find a decent high value man, then he's going to stick with you, and he's going to have that mentality towards you. He's going to have that behavior towards you where it's like he's seeing you progress in your age. And obviously nobody stays young and beautiful forever, but in his eyes you will. A good demeanor. You want to maintain a good demeanor. You don't want to be like, I'm going to use the term bitch shield. It's obvious that a woman needs a bitch shield. Or she's just going to be approached by guys unabatedly, and there has to be a way to, keep these dudes off of your back, to just keep them away and yeah. But you have to understand there's a time to turn that off. And if you don't know when to turn that off, if you have no filter, because the 21st century has taught you in true feminist fashion that a woman can do no wrong and you can just be when you want, where you want, and just not control and check your emotions, you're not going to attract the guy. You're not going to have a high value status in the eyes of most men, not let alone high value men. Because I'll give you an example. When I was working in London, there was this Indian girl. She was quite a pretty Indian girl working down in the lobby as a receptionist. And she was dating some guy that worked up in my office. And she asked me one day, she's like, why does he take the back exit where I can't see him? And I was like, I don't know. She was like, so we went back and forth talking a little bit. And one day I was reading some book. I said, what is this? And she was just like, she freaked out. I was just, put it down, fuck it. She was screaming. And I just stopped. I said, you know what? That's right there. That's why he doesn't want to come. There's the wifey. That's why he doesn't want to see you, and goes out the back door, because you have no filter of when you are emotionally responsible. I'm not gonna wear a mask. She went in there wearing the cop. So he avoided her because she has no emotional filter. She has no sense of situation. Like, this is maybe an appropriate time to, be a particular way. It is not appropriate time to be a particular way. And he recognized that, and he wanted nothing to do with her. And I actually never spoke to her again either, because it's like, wow, I asked her about a book and she lost her crap. She freaked out. So just, knowing how to control yourself and your emotions, to actually be able to stop, let your emotions settle, and then be able to think about the situation and speak properly like an adult if you want to be treated like one. That's basically it. There's probably more I could list, but the wife's here, so she was shopping and whatnot, and I figured I'd make this video for you ladies. The lady in specific that asked that. It's actually a long one, 10 minutes. Anyway, this is your man, Abuamerican. I am out.